Jack Eichel gets 2 points against his former team as VGK defeats the Buffalo Sabres 3-1. Our takeaways from Saturday's game coming your way next on this Monday edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Jack Eichel, a goal and an assist against the Buffalo Sabres, his former team, on Saturday, 3-1, the final for VGK. The other goal scorers, Mark Stone and Tanner Laczynski, scores his first NHL goal of the season. And Stone scored his 10th for the Golden Knights. Bruce Cassidy said following the game that if you want to score a goal, just get the puck to Eichel, and he will return the puck to you. The puck will find an open player. Eichel now with 52 points. And VGK still has a couple of more games before the midway point of the season. I can't gush enough about the play of Jack Eichel.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this was a layup that Eichel was going to show up against the Sabres, right? He's had some pretty impressive stat lines, and it's you're always going to have a little more juice, especially given Eichel's circumstances, right? I mean, he couldn't. Had some good years statistically in Buffalo, but things definitely didn't go well, maybe as far as his attitude was concerned, at least the perception of his attitude and things like that. So here he comes to Vegas, and it's just another story of another Buffalo Sabre making good once they get the heck out of once they get out of Buffalo, I guess.
Do you remember when Eichel played back in Buffalo, like his first appearance back there, and he's ripping the fans and no one really noticed me before and all that? Heard a great story about Kelly McCrimmon. He did not want Eichel to be available when they went back there. A former PR person brought Eichel into the room. He said he wanted to talk to the media. And then in front of all the other media members, your boy McCrimmon just ripping this former PR guy from the Golden Knights because he made him available. But hey, Eichel wanted to do it. I think he's toned down. I know that he always wants to beat Buffalo. It's something near and dear to his heart.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not a personal thing, and I don't think Jack has an issue with a lot of the fans and stuff back there. The organization's a different story. He wanted to treat his body a certain way. The organization wouldn't let him. Obviously, we're looking at that as a poor decision to see what Eichel has turned into. Of course, the other parts of that deal were Alex Tuch and Peyton Krebs. Alex Tuch is doing well. Tuch is the one that supposedly should story of a player returning home, leading the team, blah, 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 blah. Sabres are 5,000 plus days without making the playoffs. Tack on another 100 and so days between now and the end of the regular season, 120 days. And that total is going to be rising and rising and rising. So the Sabres, they're talking about shipping some big pieces like a Dylan Cousins and things like that. And I mean, Eichel even he takes a chance to get a shot at any time you can. And I mean, I dangled the bait a little bit to him back at Stanley Cup Media Day. I thought the question was framed not necessarily to put Jack in like a gotcha type of moment, but it was, I gave him the opening and he took it. Mentioned it's good to play for a world-class organization, quotes like that aren't necessarily direct shots at Buffalo, but making his perspective known that he's happy to be out of that dumpster fire, because that's exactly what it is over there.
Well, to make it clear, while he was there, he did enjoy the fans, and he did enjoy playing with his teammates. It was just a front office thing, and they went back and forth, and we know the end of this story.
None of his former teteammates drag him at all in media and stuff. No one does.
No, they all say terrific things about him, and he likewise says the same about his former teammates there. Victor Olofsson scratched 30 minutes before the game, so now he's month to month? Is that what's maybe up with
You know,
him?
it
You
sounds
never
like a
know.
joke, but that could be the reality. I mean, allegedly, I think it was a sickness, probably a flu bug or something like that, and
Yeah.
everyone's getting sick. Who knows? It could be a while the way things are going right
No, I
now.
think it. I think it is. I think it is. I was purely making that statement in jest because,
If
and then
history
Cassidy,
is any indicator, Tony, I'm just saying. Just
he'll be
saying.
on LTIR tomorrow, and so we did see Tanner Pearson filling in for Olaf, and it was a half an hour before the start of the game, and he couldn't go. He just couldn't go. So that was okay. They didn't really need him, but of course he's fitting in pretty well right now. VGK has more points than any other team, surpassing Winnipeg now with 57 points this season. We're going to talk later about sustainability and all that. But this is where VGK is at right now. And they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. This is something that in the past, this is why they slumped before, because they'd be a heavy favorite against the team and then they wouldn't win those games. Mark Stone, we need to talk about him. Now, the 8th fastest Canadian to get 600 points, took him 665 games. Connor McDavid did it the quickest, 421 games played to get to 600 points. My goodness, when you start to look at numbers like that, it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Stone just continues to do everything right. I mean, him and Stone and Pietrangelo got some commonalities, I guess, right? Neither one's going to win a race. Neither one's going to skate past you. Neither one's going to dangle the puck around you, but they're going to find ways to put themselves in the right position. In the case of Mark Stone, Mark Stone's going to be exceptional in the neutral zone. He's going to create turnovers. He's going to make something out of nothing. And then when the puck is in front of either net, he gets to the right spot, whether it's the offensive side, whether it's the defensive side. Mark Stone's going to be in the right place on the ice every second of the shift. We've watched many goals where VGK has given up. You can point to someone's stick not being in the right zone. We can see a blown coverage. We can see all sorts of things that happen, but it never goes back to Mark Stone being out of position or making a poor play. Stone just slides right in when Jack Eichel has the puck for the first goal of the game. All 3 Vegas goals, transition goals, by the way. I was just going back and peeking at it. All 3 of them transition goals, but they did have some good offensive zone time when they were trying to create a cycle and things like that. Only a 3-goal night, fine, whatever, but still a 3-goal night. And VGK really, there was never any concern this game was going to get close. Buffalo made a push late. That's fine. All teams do make late pushes, but this game was never in doubt. And that minus 210 or whatever that line was free money on Saturday.
Adin Hill, 23 saves in the game the other night, but he's a goaltender that tried to score a goalie goal, but it went awry. So he hits the puck outside of the trapezoid zone. And so let's talk about Mr. Referee, Golick. Put your referee hat on, since we haven't had to talk about this for a minute. So the puck was actually outside or on the line right there for the trapezoid when he hit it. And so that was a penalty for VGK.
I guess my first question is about the trapezoid. I don't know if it's like, let's use offsides. The entire puck has to cross the line. Let's use a goal being scored. The entire puck has to cross the line. I don't know if the trapezoid rule is the same, where if a little fragment of the puck is out, put your hand up, ref, call that penalty, or vice versa. It looked like it was Dylan Cousins or who was on the ice for Buffalo. It looked like there was a little bit of a sell job right there. Adin Hill played that puck. The only angles they showed was from Adin Hill's body kind of facing us on the camera, and his stick was almost over the top, as you can see him torquing up for that shot right there. So, I mean, there's a ref close by, and Buffalo sold it a little bit. Fine, whatever, gave him a chance. There was a goalie goal for the Night Monsters on Sunday night. Vikman, I believe.
It was Vikman. I never would have expected that. Wow.
So, yeah, so they
is that the first one in VGK franchise or organizational history?
It's a fair question. I would assume so. I don't recall anything happening in Henderson. We know it hasn't happened with the Golden Knights yet. So I would assume this. He teed it up. He took a shot, and why not? Right? That's I guess. And for me personally, there's 2 things I always look forward to, especially on the media side. But either way, it'd be awesome to see as a fan. I always want to see a goalie goal, And the other thing I want to see, I might be the only one in the universe that wants
You
to
want to
see
see the
this.
goalie fight. You
I
want
don't
to
care
see
about
the
the goalie fight. It's
Oh
fun. but I
no,
don't care.
that's what I wanted. I told
know.
you. I almost saw Marc-Andre Fleury go. I forgot who was in net for Chicago when they played here, and I was right behind Fleury, seats down there, right behind the glass. And
You went to a
Fleury,
game and you sat in the seats.
I
That's
actually
some
went to
development.
a game. Yeah, my bad.
The other thing I want to see is an equipment manager assist. That's when the player on the ice breaks their stick, loses a stick, whatever happens,
Breaks their
and then
blade.
whatever happens, the stick breaks. The equipment manager passes the puck to the player while they're still on the ice, and they score a goal with the new stick. And
Like
then
the hidden ball trick in baseball. That's
yeah,
pretty crafty.
and the
All
coolest
right.
thing about it is when it happens, the entire team on the bench just mobs the equipment manager. It's always such an awesome sight to see. So
Wait. How could the equipment manager be? Oh, he hands over the stick.
he hands over the
Oh,
stick. He's on the bench with the players, just waiting and
okay,
stuff. And yeah,
and
so
that's it.
it's
And
the coolest thing when it happens because the equipment manager absolutely gets mobbed
dude,
when it happens.
we have not called it a twig in a while. So he hands the twig over, like, whoa.
Hey, speaking of twig, Tony, my son, so he's outside playing hockey, little Chris, every day playing roller hockey, and then obviously he's on the ice too whenever we have a game or a practice. He has Santa brought him a wood stick for outside, a new one because he chops them up a lot, and we didn't cut it down at all because I figured he's going to grow into it a little bit more. It probably goes up to around his forehead. Stick should
So
go
he's
somewhere between
Jack Eichel or Nick Hague.
Exactly. Stick should go somewhere between your chin and your nose, depending.
It should.
This one goes about to his forehead. When he's on skates, it goes to about his forehead.
Mine was that little mini stick thing that you could put.
Yeah,
on
you got a chinny stick. So
mini, not chinny. You said chinny.
Shinny.
Oh,
So
shinny.
point being is
Shinny
for the
stick.
game, we had a game on Saturday up at City National, and he wanted to try a bigger stick. So we were debating extending one of his sticks. And I said, you know what? Screw it. Go out there with that wood stick. So he's out there rocking a Shearwood 50-30 PMP, just heavy hunk of wood. All the parents in the crowd asking Amanda, is Chris using a wood stick? What is going on out there? And other players are like, what is that? And the ref, like, is this legal? The ref didn't ask if it was legal. But point being is he loved it. He's never been stronger on the puck.
Wow.
Had some good shots, got some good clears. So Chris is going to be the only player in the house league program for a while, probably rocking a wood stick, and that makes me a proud daddy.
I'll bet you he could stop Jack Eichel. You know, like when he went against that beer league guy, I think little Chris would give him better.
Little Chris might have fared better against than the
he
beer
would have
league
fared
guy.
better. And people didn't like it that I said that I would tackle Eichel. Of course I would. Coming up next,
Kadri should be cross-checked.
Someone on VGK should have been cross-checked. He hasn't scored a goal, by the way. Hasn't, I think, had a point in 6 games.
Who?
He is the 200-foot player. Coming up next.
Get out of here. Leave William Karlsson alone.
Coming up next.
Or the only thing you can talk about right now.
He's going to be hugging next time they take a photo.
Go away, Tony.
Of course, him and the owner be hugging each other again. Oh, it was very awkward, man. Like yesterday at, of course, Allegiant Stadium.
Okay.
Antonio Pierce, after the game, rather than going out and shaking hands.
Still employed Antonio Pierce, too.
Well, as of airtime. So
Exactly.
Pierce loses the game. They get pummeled, whatever. Horrible season. Goes out there, and he doesn't shake Harbaugh's hand. He goes out there and gives him a big, voluptuous hug. I don't know what that word, voluptuous, but anyway, and it was like, I mean, Harbaugh was like this, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, he just hugs him and engulfs him. Coming up next, VGK.
Maybe he's looking, maybe he knows he's going to be on the market.
Currently, is their success going to be sustainable?
Buzzword, sustainable.
Coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. From big upsets to game-winning drives, hug it out with your besties. No, the NFL playoffs are much, much better with FanDuel because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200, $200. It says here in bonus bets. Win or lose, the FanDuel app gives you everything that you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. So visit the website. Make sure that you check out all of the betting lines around the league, and the playoffs are here, folks. It's going to be a blast. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You can get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Back on this Monday edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen. Thank you so much. Of course, everyone tuning in globally to our broadcast. And I was pointing out the other day to Chris, we have so many unique visitors. So first-time listeners on the audio side, and I know the same is on YouTube, and we definitely appreciate you. Stick around because there's just so much fun to be had on this very show. Like Fridays is WTF, Saturdays, sometimes Chris, Big Chris, and the wooden stick guy, Little Chris, they sometimes do the Chris and Chris show. It's remarkable how we came up. The intern, I believe, came up with the title of that show. Is that ever going to happen again? Your mic is off again, bro.
Mic's off. Mic's on. Mic's
on. Mic off. Mic on.
One of these days. It'll happen one of these days. We're too busy playing roller coaster. Not roller coaster tycoon, Planet Coaster lately. Really fun game. Really fun.
I don't know what that is. Okay, so VGK has won 16 of 20 games since around. I'm feeding back there my voice. Around American Thanksgiving, November the 21st.
Around when I said the Golden Knights had troubled waters ahead. Yeah, then too. Yeah.
That was a really good show there. And yeah, okay, it really held up. Look at us now. And they've allowed just a little over 2 goals per game, which is obviously unbelievable. They would win the President's Trophy if the season were over right now. The jinx is on. Is the success of late, is this, Mr. McCrimmon, sustainable? I say no, but I also didn't see this coming. I have to admit that, right? And VGK typically slumps this time of year. They have been healthy, and the schedule has been very, very extremely friendly. Some people have been blasting me about me saying that VGK has the second easiest schedule from the new year on, but just look at the numbers. And fans also, when I say that this schedule is rigged, Chris, I said this before the season, yes, obviously, but they're like, well, we didn't know how these teams were going to be. BS, absolute BS, because we knew Buffalo was going to be El Stinko once again. They haven't made the playoffs in 13 years. You play every other week. You play the stinking Sharks. We knew that they would be bad. The Flyers are meh. Like, come on, man. This schedule is not very good. It's very soft. And I still say that there could be a letdown after this stinking Four Nations happens. What are your thoughts?
I mean, all right, let's start. There's 43 games remaining, if my math is right. I just went through them all, and it looks like, if I did it correctly based on right now, there's only 9 scenarios where the Golden Knights play back-to-back games. Not back-to-back one night overnight, but back-to-back games against playoff contenders. So 2 consecutive games against decent teams. So 9 of 43. So that tells you right there, the Golden Knights, the schedule. Like you said, the schedule certainly is soft. And I don't know if it's as soft for the Golden Knights. I mean, I just feel like there's your elite teams where the Golden Knights are now a part of, with your Minnesota Wild and Winnipeg Jets and your best teams from the East. And then you have a big bucket of crap that just is not going to be a Stanley Cup contender. It's not going to, your lower level playoff type teams. I mean, you really have 7 or 8 teams that have identified themselves as a cup contender. And then the rest of them, sure, could a dark horse pop out of nowhere and do something? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't think the Vancouver Canucks are that team that could have done it, like they were last year, but you never know. So back to the sustainability. That's the point of this segment here. Is this sustainable? And you look at the schedule. Yes, it is. I mean, the Golden Knights are pacing for 119 points right now. 119 points. That's absolutely remarkable. It'd probably go down as far as a points percentage as, I don't know, top 20, top 30, whatever it is in the history of the National Hockey League. We'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but it would be definitely one of the better ones. And could the Golden Knights buck the President's Trophy trend and be that team. And why not? I mean, the Golden Knights have done everything else in their existence. I mean, Stanley Cup 6 years in and playoffs in 6 of 7. We can go on and on and on and on and on. And why not win the President's Trophy and give the finger to that trophy as they hoist the Stanley Cup in early June?
Now, the torrid scoring pace concerns me because they're getting scoring from different players every night. And the fact that they are having career years out of a lot of these players, does that come back down to earth at some point?
Season number 1. So this is interesting. It's a good conversation. Season number 1, right? The Golden Knights make it to the Stanley Cup final. Washington wins 4-1, fine, whatever, who cares? But McCrimmon himself didn't believe in the season 1 team, which is why wholesale changes were made between seasons 1 and 2. Didn't call that level of play sustainable because multiple players had career years. It worked then. It definitely worked then. And, we're going to talk about new players coming in and stuff like that. And it's not about the new players necessarily having the career seasons, but it's Brett Howden leading the team in scoring as of January the 6th, 2025. It's Pavel Dorofeev pacing for nearly 30 goals, having that breakout type of season. Ivan Barbashev, pre-injury, was pacing for, 42, 43 goals. Olofsson's scoring pace on a per-game basis was extremely solid. So the Golden Knights have found ways to replace the lost goals of starting with March or so, and then you go down with Chandler and so on and so forth from there. And then they filled in the gaps with the role players like a Mike Amadio. That's where we'll talk more about Holtz in the third segment. But Holtz is a lesser version of Amadio, but still out there every night grinding. So is this sustainable? I think the only thing that can slow it down are the injuries. And the injuries happen every year. They happen right about now. And not that we want them to happen. No one wants them to happen. But the likelihood, and the injuries are happening. I mean, right now the Golden Knights were without 3 key pieces on Saturday, one for illness and Olofsson, but Nicholas Waugh and Ivan Barbashev. Barbashev's situation was kind of a mystery. Nick Waugh was more of a mystery in the sense that, maintenance day. Hope he didn't respond well. All of a sudden, we're on IR, but 3 weeks later. So both of them are skating. Hopefully, that's a good thing. But once Barbashev and Waugh come back, someone else is going to get hurt. That's just the reality of the National Hockey League. Is it going to be Alex Holtz, where the Golden Knights will find a way to replace him, or Tanner Pearson or Lazinski? Okay. Is it going to be Alex Pietrangelo? Is it going to be Noah Hanifin? Is it going to be Mark Stone? God forbid it's Jack Eichel. We'll find out soon. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Goaltending, are the two tendies really going to stay at this level? That's a big question right now. And we almost had a career high for Adin Hill in goal scoring the other night. If he knows
another career season.
Career season.
Oh, that's good. I mean, all right, so goaltending, let's talk for a second here. Let's look at the numbers first. Adin Hill, 17-6-2, remarkable so far, 258 goals against, and a 904 save percentage. I'd like to see that maybe go up a little bit more, but 904 is fine. And then Samsonov, I'll pat myself on the back for calling for Sammy in the offseason, 10-3-1, 269 and a 907. So, Adin Hill, so 904 doesn't sound that great, but Adin Hill was 850, 860, 875 for a long, long time early on in the season. And then he certainly picked it up really late October, early November. I think it was the Nevada Day game against the Ottawa Senators early in the season when you saw
American Nevada Day
Adin Hill's game. So now he's, probably if you take away the first, 6-7 starts, his save percentage is probably in the 920s or 9-teens, which is absolutely phenomenal. So we've seen this out of Adin Hill. We know Adin Hill has this in him. Can you do it for long periods of time? So far he is. And Samsonov is proving to be the perfect complement. Coach Cassidy and I always forget why do I forget the coaches and the goalie coach's name?
Goalie coach.
What's that?
Yeah, the goalie coach.
Then the goalie coach are doing really well at managing the workload. It's basically 50-50. Every now and then Adin goes twice, but it's basically 50-50. And, it's all kind of starting to work out, and it's feeling like it's going to be a special season.
Coming up next, what is the role of Alexander Holtz? We'll get to it moving forward. What does he do with this team? How does he fit in? We'll talk about that next right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Did Rocket Money help you to find any subscriptions that you forgot about that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had quite a few subscriptions. I am the worst at doing this because I've got some subscriptions I never even knew existed. And then Rocket Money finds them. And I was still paying for these. Rocket Money made it so easy to track all of them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you to find and cancel as well unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps to lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals that you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. For me, it's a terrific service. You need to check it out. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions today at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. You've been so kind to us, and we have been so unkind to Alexander Holtz. I don't know where he fits in. That's the question. So the other night, of course, he's playing on the fourth line. Does he get sent down? What is the deal with him when Waugh and Barbashev return? So he was playing on the line with Cole Schwindt. Jonas Ronbjorg was on that line, right, on Saturday night against Buffalo. And then, of course, Holtz and Cassidy said that pretty much their role was to be defensive forwards, more or less. And then he said sooner or later, they will break out with the scoring. They're just kind of taking their time with the construction of this fourth line. But this fourth line isn't going to be this lineup for very long, correct?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, what's going to happen is Keegan Kolesar played his way into a top 6, top 9 role with the Vegas Golden Knights.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's interesting to see. I mean, right now, okay, Holtz with the New Jersey Devils averaged 11 minutes, 38 seconds time on ice. With the Vegas Golden Knights, 11:45. So he's getting about the same amount of time playing in a bottom 6, kind of more complimentary role. Of course, Alex Holtz had a lot more success doing this with New Jersey last season, getting 28 points, but a minus 15 overall. This year, Holtz 10 points, pacing for 22, 23 points, currently a -2. I think the first thing with Holtz that needs to be acknowledged. So again, the offseason was pretty crazy in Vegas with Chandler Stevenson and Jonathan Marchessault leaving the team, so to speak. Call it what it is. Right?
Hang on. Hold the presses. Marchessault got in a scrap. He got in a fight the other night.
He did get in a fight the other night, which is pretty good. Marchessault quietly is now pacing for a 30-30 season also.
Of course, we said that. We said it'll wind up with 30
got a
goals.
little quiet about Marchessault all of a sudden, so they'll find another target. They're going to start dissing Stevenson and Mike Amadio now, I guess, or Will Carrier.
Dissing Vegas Bjorn. Go ahead.
So back to Holtz here. I think the expectations, and starting with us, right? What was the Golden Knights' path to replacing the 90 lost goals and whatever it was, and the 100 and something lost points? You look at Alex Holtz, right? Well, Alex Holtz with the Devils, he got 16 goals being a bottom 6 forward. Holtz going to get a top 6 role, score 25 goals with the Vegas Golden Knights, right? No, that's not what happened. So the expectations were a little bit high. A lot of people are suggesting to trade Alex Holtz and stuff like that. Just
for 22, what?
Exactly. That's the thing. You're not going to get anything.
He doesn't bring any value, folks.
Well, not in return. I mean, listen, he's a 22-year-old number one. He's an RFA after this season. So the Golden Knights control their destiny with him, so to speak. He's going to cost less than $1 million. He's had success at the NHL level. Holtz isn't going anywhere. Holtz is blocking shots. Holtz is grinding. Holtz is not, in my opinion, a liability to this team. Is he as physical as Keegan Kolesar on the fourth line? Of course not. Is he will Carrier? Of course not. But he's not a liability. He battles every night. He blocks shots. He's willing to do the dirty work. He's willing to do what it takes. And it's an interesting spot to have a potential skill player in a fourth line right wing role. Now, he's had a lot of good looks. He had a lot of chances. I think some of this is snake bitten. Some of this is bad luck. I think Holtz will be fine. The concern when the playoffs come is Holtz the energy guy that the Vegas Golden Knights need in that spot? And that's where I think the answer is no.
And right now, again, let's just make this clear that Cassidy does not expect him to score goals. They expect him to
Cassidy
go out
likes
there.
him, I think. I think we can agree. I think Cassidy likes him. I think Cassidy likes him.
Does. I think he really likes him.
Likes him more than Brisson. And that's not even meant to be funny, but he likes him more than Brisson.
Who? The guy in the milk carton? What is going on? What is going on with Brendan Brisson?
This is about the time when the Golden Knights are going to call him up and find a way to push him in the lineup to parade him a little bit, I think, honestly.
How is Akira Schmid doing at the HL level? Not well, because that team's been losing.
He doesn't have a goalie goal yet, so.
No goalie goal. I saw some numbers. I just wanted to see if they were correct or if I remembered correctly here. In the AHL, what are his stats? Blah, blah, blah. 4-12-1. 4-12-1. So,
yeah, 4-12-1, 895, 334 goals against. But
again, we're just talking about them because those two, of course.
The Silver Knights are a dumpster fire. Let's be clear about this for a second. They're still a dumpster fire. They're the worst team in the American League. They won on Sunday, of course. So, I mean, apparently the timing of this,
Yeah, that really, we didn't plan it out on the napkin very well.
We talked about Brendan Brisson. Where the heck are his stats? Where is he? I can't even find him on the stat sheet. He's a ghost. He's a ghost there, too. Brisson, 25 games, 4-7, so 4 goals, 7 assists. Dude is a -14. He's a -14 in 25 games. And
a lot of times, when I look at the lineups, he's on the second line. And
he's going up back in that top 6. He's going up back in that top 6. He's learn how to be a professional. I think that's what it comes down to. He needs to learn how to become a professional hockey player.
I like the guy. He can
score.
Him too. He can score goals.
He can.
And I can't give away this mini Brisson helmet signed Brisson helmet on our show because there's no value to the followers out there.
Well, you got a mini Brendan Brisson helmet sitting somewhere in there.
It's autographed. It's signed, bro. I'm just like, yeah, I'll bring it. I'll bring it for show and tell day. What day is that? Tomorrow or Wednesdays? Wednesdays. When you were in school, weren't Wednesdays show and tell day? Or am I'm confused with something?
I know we appreciate everyone. Day. I remember bringing this big crane they used to have in my house, and I showed it off in kindergarten class. Crane, construction crane.
Wait, so what?
Remote control construction crane, probably about
remote
3
control.
feet tall. Yeah,
really?
Cool. Yeah,
taller than little Chris's stick?
No,
nothing's taller.
Andre the Giant's not taller than Chris's stick.
Really? So where does it come up to? Like up to there, up to his eyes?
It probably goes up to his forehead. Yeah, it probably on skates. It's probably at like eye level.
That's great.
I love it, man. I didn't want him to do it, and then he convinced me. I said, "Show me." And in warm-ups, he lined up in front of me on the bench. I didn't even let him warm up with the team. I wanted to see him shoot with the puck and stuff. And he's rifling the puck. I'm like, okay, have fun, bro. And he had a great game.
Does he have a curve on there? Like, is it really curved?
It's got a good curve. It's an open toe. He can elevate it, definitely. It's got a good curve. Oh, yeah, it's not a flat stick, Tony. Come on now. Come on.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our good friends, and especially those in Singapore. Number 3 in our listenership and viewership. Tremendous. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Fridays are WTF, Saturdays, the Chris times Chris Jr. show, sometimes the YouTube exclusive there. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco saying so long for now from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow. Big game coming up, showdown against, oh my goodness, the Sharks. I hope they're ready this time in the Shark Tank. We'll preview that game and everything else on tomorrow's show. Please take care.